Hadley give our invocation, and then we'll stand for the pledge to the flag.
Councilman Campbell. Councilwoman Willingham.
Present.
Councilman Hadley.
Here.
Councilman Lawrence.
Here.
Councilwoman Smith.
Present.
Councilman Palmer.
Here.
Councilman Hadley.
Right here. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to come out today in your name, Lord. Lord, give us the strength to make the decision that we need to make for the public, Lord. Keep us all in your hands, Lord. Bless the ones not here and bless the ones here. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you have received minutes of our regular City Council meeting on September the 10th and also our call meeting on September the 18th. Do I hear any motion, or do I hear any corrections or adjustments?
I move that we accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the minutes of the September 10th and September 18th meeting. All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Let's see, Mr. City Manager, we have a couple of guests tonight. You want to call on them?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe the first guest we have on our agenda is Mrs. Terry Jackson with the American Red Cross. Ms. Jackson? Jenkins, I'm sorry. Get my bifocal working here. You can come up and
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me. I brought some information. I'm just going to pass it right here, and hopefully there should be enough for everybody. Sorry, my back is too big. I am the Executive Director of the South Georgia chapter of the American Red Cross, and 2 years ago, the Sunbelt Area chapter, which is housed in Moultrie, merged with the Valdosta chapter, where I was director, and the Georgia Wiregrass chapter in Thomasville to become the South Georgia chapter. So I grew from 4 counties to 11, and I have a staff of 1 person. What the American Red Cross does, and a lot of people, the first thing that people think of is blood services, and that is definitely a component of the American Red Cross, along with our Services to Armed Forces program, our Preparedness, Health, and Safety program, our international program, and primarily what the chapter is responsible for is emergency preparedness. Our mission is to educate and prepare everybody in the face of disaster. So when disaster does happen, and inevitably it always does, our goal and mission is to help you be prepared. A lot of people are caught unaware. And this past year, the South Georgia chapter issued over $60,000 in emergency assistance, direct financial assistance to my 11 county area. And I have a staff of 1, like I mentioned, but I have a great volunteer base of about 125. Originally from Florida, worked in nonprofit for about 14 years, and I've been with the Red Cross for 5, 2 as a volunteer and 3.5 as the director. And I'm here tonight just to make you aware of how I'm here for you. I am your local Red Cross. I don't know if in the past your dealings with the Sunbelt area were positive or negative, but each city that I travel to, I ask the leaders, what was the relationship before, what would you like it to be? And the service delivery has never gone anywhere, but the good thing is that I'm here now, my emergency services director, Jack Looney, he will come to businesses here in Camilla and do disaster education training to businesses, to churches. We are looking for partners in Mitchell County to help the Red Cross spread the mission and help be disaster responders. Currently, there's only 1 disaster response team, what we call a disaster action team, in this area. And that husband and wife couple, and some may know them, Donnie and Betty Humphreys, they live in Pelham. They are the Red Cross disaster responders here for this county, and but they need help. And so what I'm looking for is people who are interested in becoming disaster trained so they can help do that disaster response. And I met with Betty today over in Pelham before coming over here. And of course, how do we exist? The only way that we are able to exist is by the generosity of our donors. And I submit foundation requests and get some money through foundations, individuals, and corporate partners. That's how I'm able to do what we do and deliver our mission to the 11 counties that we serve. And of course, I received United Way funding, but I got cut this year, about $33,000. So I'm currently in my fiscal year 13 and I'm beginning my second quarter. And so just keep the Red Cross in mind if you need our services. Again, emergency preparedness training, health and safety training, or any kind of other information that you may need, I'll be glad to provide it. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Looney, does he try to work with the local emergency management?
Yes.
Which the city council is going to pass a resolution tonight about emergency management among the cities in the county here in Mitchell County.
Okay.
And we have unfortunately had 7 presidentially declared disasters in the past 20 years, and the Red Cross has always been there and very helpful.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Jack, when the acquisition happened 2 years ago, I was able to hire Jack, and he took everything emergency services, disaster off of me so I could focus on fundraising. And so in the 2 years of the 7 extra counties, we have met. He has met with them. We come over here every other month for the EMAG meetings. And the last time I was in town, I spoke with Anna Lamb, Bryce, and the EMA here. So we have a very close working relationship with all the EMAs in the county. Without them, we can't really do what we do. So it's important for us to show that community how in close partnership we are, with the EMAs. And when I acquired this area, I learned that it was one of the most disaster prone in the state. So that made it more diligent for us to come up with strategic plans to try to be prepared. And little by little, our goal is to get a disaster trailer in every county and a Red Cross trailer. And so one is placed here now. And so we're working on, I go far west to Donaldsonville. And so I travel a lot. I mean, most every day of the week I'm out traveling, looking for partners and educating people on what the South Georgia chapter does. So any consideration in the future for donation for the chapter would be appreciated. Any other questions?
I appreciate you coming and making yourself available to us, and we've got your information, and like I said, most of our disaster response goes through the county and through the EMA, and so we support them, and but it's good to know that you're there, especially for the training. Perhaps we can take advantage of some of that.
Okay. Well, just let me know, and
Okay.
we'll be here when you call us. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next guest is Paige Gilchrist, Mitchell County Development Authority. I think I mentioned to the council, Paige was here last month, and she's going to come every month and give a brief report of her activities with the Development Authority.
Excuse me, thank you all for having me tonight. One of the biggest reports I have, or biggest news I have for y'all, is that the Department of Community Affairs recently approved the City of Camilla's application for opportunity zones. By establishing these zones, they're great for new and existing businesses to locate or expand in these certain zones. When I first heard about them, obviously I went and read about them and researched them, and then approached Mr. Bennett and said, hey, I think this would be a great tool for us to use here in Camilla and in Mitchell County, and he agreed. So therefore, he and I worked along with the Regional Commission throughout the application process. For these zones to be created, there are certain criteria that you have to meet. They can't just be anywhere. The criteria includes an area within or adjacent to a census block group with poverty rate of 15% or greater, within an enterprise zone, which Camilla has, or within an urban redevelopment area. The area also must display general poverty, underdevelopment, and general distress and blight. Now, how it works is once these areas are designated, and they are, if a business, new or existing, creates 2 jobs and they maintain those 2 jobs, they can receive tax credits for the next 5 years. They're $3,500 per job, so 2 jobs times 5 times the, it's a total of $35,000 for 2 jobs. So that's great for hoping to encourage businesses to grow and expand here in Camilla. The only kind of, I guess, main drawback about that is that the 2 jobs that are created cannot be husband and wife. I hope to have a map to share with y'all next time. The Regional Commission has been working on one for me, but with their move, they've kind of been a little bit behind. I'm also the one taking the time to contact each landowner, business owner that are in those areas to let them know that we have these zones, because there's no point in having them if they don't know that we have them. So anyway, I was really excited that we were able to get those done. Some of the other activities that may be interesting to y'all is I'm leaving tomorrow to go to the International Council of Shopping Center retail show. They're going to have anything from Dollar General type people to Golden Corral type people, anything that's in the retail industry. They're going to be there. It's like a 2.5-day show. I'm really excited to meet these people. I hope we make some great contacts, and I'm going to be giving them information about available properties we have here in Camilla and in Mitchell County. So maybe y'all come home with some good leads from that. As you all know, we've been working on the Brownfield Assessment Grant. The deadline for that is November 19th. Our application is almost done. We've got a few more things to put on the application, but we should have it submitted in plenty of time. We won't know if we get that money until next year, but I have a real good feeling about it. We got some great support letters from throughout the community. I was really excited. Keystone actually was one of the people that are supporting it, and that's great to have the largest employer, supporting our coalition. And I am also still working on the marketing plan for Mitchell County. I'm hoping that once it's established that, the city of Camilla, Pelham, the chambers and all, we can all come together and put this plan into use. But besides that, that's probably the biggest things that we've had going on right now. Do any of y'all have any questions about the opportunity zones or anything else that's going on?
I have one. On the opportunity zones, once you contact the employers, will you guys help them fill out the appropriate paperwork and show them?
Yeah, I've got several brochures and just helpful information to provide for them. Then I've got the link for them to go to print out the form if they want to, or I can give them the form. But I'm first going to just call them, and I'm going to send them a letter, and then have all my information. If they want to then contact me for more assistance, I'll help them.
Will the new Walmart fall in that zone?
Yes. Most of these areas had to be an area that they couldn't just be a piece of vacant land. They had to, at one point, been a building there, or even if the building's messed up, it can still, as long as there was something at one point there. All right. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for coming. Okay.
I have one more question. Hey,
Sure.
Does that cover training fees, or that's just a tax credit?
That's a tax credit that they can claim against their Georgia income tax.
Okay. I didn't know if that had any kind of training fees or anything, new hire training fees or anything. Okay.
Okay. Our next order of business is public hearings for conditional use for Majestic Kingdom Embassy. Charles, are you in charge of this tonight? I don't see anybody from the planning and zoning.
No, I think it's all been taken care of.
Okay.
We do have 2 public hearings tonight. The first is Majestic Kingdom Embassy Church requesting a conditional use for the purpose of the church to be located at 613 and 615 Newton Road. This is the former location of AC's Steakhouse. I believe Reverend Miller is here tonight. Reverend Miller, I know you told the city council what you were proposing to do at the work session last week, but if you would again tell them what the church is proposing to do there, and also you'll have the benefit of the television audience that you get your message out to as well.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, to the city council, and the citizens of Camilla, Georgia. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity of coming before the council tonight. It is our vision at Majestic Kingdom Embassy. We're formerly called Joyful Life, and we have been here in Camilla, established as a church since 1995, about 17 years now. And our congregation is growing now, And a couple of years ago, we purchased formerly what was called the AC Steakhouse. And recently we tried to use it as an event center. That didn't work out, but I think the Lord meant for us to really relocate. And so tonight we are asking the city council if you would give us permission to use that as our main facility. The property that was formerly the steakhouse itself, which was the restaurant part, we want to use that part as our main sanctuary, and possibly eating sometimes, and some other miscellaneous meetings, which will all be church related. The back building, which was formerly Mark's Sporting Bar, we want to use that as an administrative office and Bible study center. And the land out there is close to 5 acres. Sometimes we may do some outside events and things like that. But we got a pretty good vision, and the city has always been good to us. And we're just asking for permission that we can build in the city and even build the community even more.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone, any other city council members have questions of Reverend Miller? Okay. Thanks, sir. Is anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of this rezoning request? Anyone here who would like to speak in opposition to this request? And I misspoke, it is not a rezoning, it's a conditional use. That will be granted. The second public hearing is to hear the request from the Brown Chapel Missionary Baptist Church to rezone property located at 100 Thompson Street from R2 Single Family Residential to C1 Neighborhood Commercial with a conditional use as a church with the permitted use of the daycare with the stipulation that a 6-foot privacy fence be placed in the section of the property that abuts the playground and residential property. I believe Reverend Sapp is here tonight to speak on behalf of this request.
Good afternoon to each and every one. I'm glad to be here, present again, to face the councilmen. We are been established there over 30-some odd years. And what we had to do after the lady moved out, we had to remodel the whole place over and over. So we have spent some $22,000 on the place and trying to get it sufficient for people to bring their kids and have everything for them to be teaching. So that's why we come before the council, asking can we keep going as a daycare center. We qualify to have 55 kids and 10 teachers, and they've been real good so far. We actually did it. This, could we, would you all please let us go ahead?
Any questions from the city council members?
The only one I have is that privacy fence. It's just on the left side of the church, would be correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was my only thing.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sapp.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this request? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the request? Okay, Mr. Mayor, we'll close the public hearing.
We'll close the public hearing at this time. And then we'll call for the report from the administrative committee.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, we have a number of items tonight. Number one, council discussed a request from Timothy L. Miller Sr. and Majestic Kingdom Embassy Church for a conditional use for the purpose of a church to be located at 613 and 615 Newton Road. Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request. The Administrative Committee recommends the conditional use be approved and authorized the mayor to sign the ordinance. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve conditional use for Majestic Kingdom Embassy Church for the purpose of the church to be located at 613, 615 Newton Road. Do we have any other comments or questions? Ready to vote. All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. And so approved unanimously. Thank you.
Item number two, council discussed a request from Reverend James Sapp Sr. and Brown Chapel Missionary Baptist Church to rezone property located at 100 Thompson Street from R2 Single Family Residential District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District with a conditional use as a church with the permitted use of the daycare, with the stipulation that a 6-foot privacy fence be placed in the section of the property that abuts the playground and residential property. The Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request. The Administrative Committee recommends the rezoning and conditional use be approved and authorizes the mayor to sign the ordinances in form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the recommendation to rezone this property at 100 Thompson Street from single-family residential to a C1 neighborhood commercial district with conditional use as a church and permitted use as a daycare. Do we have any further questions or any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, passes unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 3. Council discussed the resolution requesting the transfer of the decommissioned Georgia Poultry Diagnostic Lab and 1.5-acre tract located at 400 Burson Road in the Industrial Park. The state of Georgia Department of Agriculture has determined the lab and tract of land are now surplus property. The city has agreed to accept this property. The Administrative Committee recommends the approval of the resolution and authorizes the mayor to sign this. This is in form of a motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to pass a resolution requesting transfer of the decommissioned Georgia Poultry Diagnostic Lab and the 1.5-acre tract to the city. Do we have any comments or questions, or Bennett, you want to just run us up to date on what this entails?
This is the poultry lab building and the 1.5-acre tract that was where the Camilla Department of Agriculture's Camilla Poultry Lab was located. I actually have a letter that I received just last Wednesday, I think it was, from the State Properties Commission, and I'm just going to paraphrase the letter. Basically, is to me, it says, I'm receiving your letter of September 20, 2012, referencing conveyance of the building and property known as Department of Agriculture's Camilla Poultry Lab to the Department Authority of the City, to the Development Authority of the City of Camilla. The property was donated to the state by the Development Authority in 1994 for the purpose of constructing the branch poultry lab. There's no state debt outstanding on the property or facility. The legislative authorization for conveyance of the property was approved by members of the State Properties Commission at its call meeting dated June 18, 2012. State Properties Commission recognizes the value in local government utilizing state surplus facilities to provide for a public purpose. The interest of the city of Camilla in having this property deeded to it for use by one of the city's utility departments will provide a public benefit as in the best interest of the state. The proposed, since the city has not offered to pay fair market value for the conveyance of the property, continued public use of the property will be a restriction in the deed of conveyance to the city. The proposed transaction is subject to the approval of the State Properties Commission and will be brought before the members for consideration at the December meeting. So that sounds very promising. They did ask that a resolution be submitted on the city's behalf. The city proposes to move our CNS telecommunications department from City Hall and our warehouse facility down on Chili Street, move all of that to the poultry lab. We're fortunate enough to receive that and get CNS operating in one facility. We think that'll make CNS more productive. It's already doing a great job here in the city. It'll also free up some space in our warehouse facility and enable us to expand that facility at a significantly lower price than had originally been thought was necessary to get the space required for our other utility departments to have adequate storage and space for their employees.
Okay. Do we have a resolution that needs to be read?
We've got a resolution ready. Just read it, Kelly. I'll read it, Kelly. I'll read it if you want me to.
It doesn't matter. I know sometimes we do, whichever.
Okay, well, we'll swap out. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, we got lots of.
A resolution of the City of Camilla Council requesting the transfer of the decommissioned poultry lab, a 1.5 acre tract of land located in Camilla, Georgia. Whereas the Development Authority of the City of Camilla transferred to the state of Georgia by gift on the 29th day of December 1994 certain property for the purpose of constructing a poultry lab. And whereas the state of Georgia Department of Agriculture has determined that the poultry lab, a 1.5 acre tract of land and now surplus property, and whereas the aforementioned property is described in Exhibit A, which is attached here to and incorporated by reference herein, and whereas the City of Camilla does desire to reacquire the said property for a public purpose, and whereas the State Property Commission would determine the value of the aforementioned property, and whereas the City of Camilla agrees to accept the conveyance of said property and a quitclaim deed for its use as a public property if approved, and now therefore it is hereby resolved that the property will be used only for public use as approved by the Camilla City Council, and be it further resolved that the city manager is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to obtain the appropriate approvals from any state agency in order to facilitate this transfer. So resolved this 8th day of October 2012.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other discussion? It's a resolution to request now the state to deed that to the city, or deed it back to the city. All in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, that passes unanimously. Thank you.
All right, item number 4, council discussed a local government resolution for emergency management. All government entities within Mitchell County are required to sign this resolution, which allows emergency management to receive funds in the event of a disaster. The administrative committee recommends approval of the resolution and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve a local resolution, a local government resolution for emergency management. Dennis, you want to give us a brief synopsis of what's going on here?
Well, this is a resolution that is approved actually annually by the cities within Mitchell County and the county of Mitchell, and it's an agreement saying how we're going to respond to any future emergency situation that might come up, and it basically, everyone who signs it agrees to comply with our emergency management plan, which is about, I think I showed the council that document at the work session. It's about 2 inches thick, and hopefully addresses any potential situation that might come up. But this is necessary to continue to have funding available from the Georgia Emergency Management Agency and the Federal Emergency Management Agency with their Stafford funds that they make available. And it's also just a good thing to do, get everybody on the same page. If we have an issue, we can all respond together as we should.
Well, we do things better as a team, and this is one way we show that by working with the county EMA, and so it's important, not only to be able to receive funds from the state, but also to show a united front. Do we have any, well, we want to read the resolution or a synopsis of the resolution?
This is pretty long, take a while.
Well, let's just
Yeah.
maybe read the first paragraph. Does that tell you what it is? Or we just forego the reading of this particular resolution? City manager's already discussed the resolution.
And it was...
Be glad to read it, but it'll take a while.
It was gone over in some detail at the work session.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the resolution, raise your hand. No opposition, it passes unanimously.
Item number 5, City Manager Adams discussed a proclamation to designate Sunday, November the 4th, 2012 as Retired Educators Day. The Administrative Committee recommends approval of the proclamation and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to pass a proclamation for Retired Educators Day, November the 4th, 2012. Do you have a proclamation to be read?
I've got a proclamation, and since my mother's a retired educator, it'd be my honor to read it.
We have a number of retired educators in our audience tonight, and we're glad that you're here.
A proclamation, Retired Educators Day. Whereas the governor of the state of Georgia has proclaimed the day of Sunday, November 4, 2012 to be known as Georgia Retired Educators Day, and whereas there are more than 50,000 retired educators in Georgia, 15,000 of whom are members of the Georgia Retired Educators Association, GREA, and whereas the retired educators of Georgia, particularly those affiliated with the Georgia Retired Educators Association and the local units of retired educators associations, return to the state without compensation hundreds of thousands of hours of vital community service. And whereas it is fitting that a day be set aside for citizens to express their thanks and appreciation for the outstanding service provided by the retired educators of Georgia. And whereas the local churches will recognize the lasting contribution made and being made by retired educators in this community. Now therefore, I, Vernon Twitty Jr., Mayor of the City of Camilla, do hereby proclaim the day of November 4, 2012 as Georgia Retired Educators Day. And I call upon the citizens of this community to observe that day in an appropriate manner, honoring the retired educators in our midst. Given upon my hand and seal at Camilla, Georgia on this 8th day of October in the year of our Lord 2012.
Okay, you've heard the resolution. All in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, it passes unanimously. And I would like to present this to our retired educators, and perhaps Reginald can get a picture of them.
It'll say how it's.
Get up there.
Okay, that's the next one's gonna be national.
Why don't you stand on the rail, I mean, not on the rail, but on the landing.
I'm gonna say on the road.
And I'll read the next one.
There you go.
That'll work.
All right. Give me three.
We'll try one more time.
You got it?
All right, I believe so.
Thank you all for your good service.
You know what we are?
Let's don't go into that.
That was a grandfather. That was anybody that long enough ago.
Okay. Keep going.
Make sure you got the right one. Number six. All right. Number 8. Number 6. We're getting there. City Manager Adams discussed the proclamation to proclaim the month of October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. The Administrative Committee recommends approval of the proclamation and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the proclamation for October, the month of October as National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Do we have any discussion on that? And do you have a proclamation? Okay.
We read it.
Yes, sir.
Proclamation, National Disability Employment Awareness Month. A strong workforce is an inclusive workforce. What can you do? Yes, whereas the month of October has been designated by the United States Congress as National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and whereas reducing physical barriers can often be easily achieved while changing misperceptions and rejecting stereotypes can create the greatest opportunities for all, including those with disabilities. And whereas the City of Camilla recognizes the demonstrated benefits of a diverse workforce and experiences every day the valuable contributions of its employees with disabilities. And whereas breaking down barriers requires cooperative, sustained, and consistent efforts, and we must work together to ensure that people with disabilities can participate fully in the workplace and all aspects of community life. And whereas we must continue to work for a community where all individuals are respected for who they are, celebrated for their abilities, and encouraged to realize their full potential and approve and achieve their dreams. Now therefore, I, Vernon Twitty Jr., Mayor of the City of Camilla, Georgia, we hereby proclaim the month of October 2012 as Disability Employment Awareness Month in the City of Camilla, and urge everyone to join us, reaffirming our determination to achieve a society that affords independence, justice, and dignity for all, and witness, as the mayor said, was set his hand and seal of the city as the 8th day of October 2012.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other discussion? And all in favor of the proclamation, raise your hand. And no opposition? Approved unanimously. Do we have anyone here to make a presentation for that?
The only note I had is that to give the original back to Brenda, I don't know. Okay.
All right. Okay. Good. Thank you. Number 7.
Item number 7, Manager Adams also discussed the proclamation to designate October 23rd through October 31st as Red Ribbon Week. The drug-free rally will be held Thursday, October 25th at 5:30 p.m. in the sanctuary of the First Baptist Church. The public is encouraged to attend. The Administrative Committee recommends approval of the proclamation and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a resolution to adopt a proclamation to designate October 23rd through October 31st as Red Ribbon Week, and we'll have a drug rally on October 25th. We have a resolution, I believe. You might read that for us.
I'll read this. Okay. Proclamation. Excuse me. Whereas the City of Camilla, Mitchell County, Georgia, has made progress in fighting illegal drug use and substance abuse, and whereas the Mayor and Council of the City of Camilla realize that we must continue to be vigilant and actively involved in creating a healthy community and promoting the well-being of families and individuals, and whereas Red Ribbon Week is a celebration of the success we have achieved and a time to renew our commitment to create a drug-free Camilla, Mitchell County, Georgia, and whereas the City of Camilla recognizes Red Ribbon Week, scheduled for October 23 through October 31, 2012, as an opportunity to work with neighbors, co-workers, and friends to make Camilla, Georgia aware that real life is drug-free. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and the City Council of the City of Camilla do officially proclaim October 23 to October 31, 2012 as Red Ribbon Week in Camilla, Georgia, and be it further resolved that the Mayor and Council of the City of Camilla encourage all residents of Camilla, Mitchell County, Georgia, to make a personal commitment for drug-free living and join us for the Red Ribbon Drug-Free Rally, which will be held Thursday, October 25th at 5:30 p.m. in the sanctuary of the First Baptist Church in Camilla, Georgia, this 8th day of October 2012.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions? All in favor of the proclamation, raise your hand. No opposition, it passes unanimously. Thank you.
On item number 8, Synergistic Software Incorporated has made a proposal to the City of Camilla Police Department to provide the police department with hardware and software. Synergistic will provide 5 computers to be installed in pursuit vehicles. Synergistic will also provide support, provide automatic software upgrades at no charge, and replace computers every 3 years. The equipment will interface with equipment currently used by the police department. The cost of the system will be added as a $4 surcharge to closed citations as paid for by the offender. The Administrative Committee recommends approval of the $4 surcharge and authorizes Chief Folsom to sign the agreement. This is in the form of motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve a $4 surcharge placed on citations, closed citations, to pay for the use of 5 computers in pursuit vehicles. Ben, would you like to just expound a little bit on that?
Yes, sir. Right now we have two of our 5 pursuit units which have laptop computers in them. This will add 3 more. So all 5 of our units will when the installation of this equipment is complete, they'll all have laptops. The laptops will have backlit keyboards. They'll have a ticket printer, a mount, a power unit, a GPS unit, which will allow the tracking of the vehicles at any time of the day. It'll even tell you how fast, you can even see how fast they're going, although I know our law enforcement wouldn't be going very fast. But it's a great management tool. It'll also allow our patrol men and women, when they stop, our officers, when they stop someone, they can go ahead and access the GCIC, run their tag. They won't have to, type 911 dispatchers. If you're unfortunate enough to receive a ticket, the officer can take your driver's license and swipe it. They'll have a swipe just like you do on the ATM. There's somebody just went up, but and they'll print out a ticket for you right there. And when that ticket is printed, it will instantaneously go to our court management system in the safety complex. So it's going to make us much more efficient. If you're unfortunate enough to be stopped, your time on the side of the road will be reduced because our officers will be more efficient. It's going to be I think it'll be a great help to our law enforcement officers if they have this in their cars.
Okay. And it's no cost to the city. The use of the computer and the computers are no cost to the city.
That's correct. As long as we continue to use this synergistics,
right.
There's no cost to the city.
Okay.
We're not saying go out and up the rates of speed ticket now.
No, actually,
why they start writing tickets?
There is no limit. Okay. A high or low number on tickets. As long as we continue to, like I said, be a synergistic client, and we're going to talk about this at the work session next week, as we always do in our second work session. But the number of tickets that are being written have dropped pretty significantly in the last year.
Yes, we have.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor of to adopt the motion to add the $4 surcharge to the closed citations. All in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, and it passes unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 9, City Manager Adams discussed resolutions and invoices for preparation to submit an application for the fiscal year 2013 Community Home Investment Program known as CHIP. The application will be submitted by the Southwest Georgia Regional Commission, who would also administer the grant. The Administrative Committee recommends approval of the resolution and invoices and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to submit an application to the Community Home Investment Program, CHIP. Do we have any comment, or Ben, would you like to expand on this just a little bit?
There are actually 4 resolutions. The first one will be to authorize the submittal of an application for 2013 Community Investment CHIP grant funds. We currently have a CHIP program that's underway in the city. We have, we hope to have 7 homes rehabilitated with those funds. They've all been, all the write-ups have been completed. Matter of fact, I think about 4 or 5 of the homes have been completed. There are 2 that have just, one started last week, and I think one is getting started this week. Do you want me to, I can read each of these, just sort of paraphrase what each of them are?
You can paraphrase it.
Yeah. All right, the next resolution is for a CHIP grant application fee, which would be paid to the Georgia Housing and Finance Authority when the application is made. The required non-refundable application fee is $250. Resolution number 3 is resolution for Regional Commission grant application fee. This resolution would authorize the payment of a $500 fee to the Regional Commission for their work putting the application together. And the final resolution is a resolution for additional administrative costs by the city. And it will be, the City Council approved that. You will be agreeing to pay the Southwest Regional Commission an additional $9,500 to administer the application's activities if we're fortunate enough to get additional CHIP funds.
Now, my understanding that we're gonna pick up from where we left off. Or will they have to resubmit an application?
I think, right, we hope to continue with the list that we have. Brenda Wade with Regional Commission is going to a seminar. Matter of fact, she may be there right now. And when she comes back, that's a question that she's gonna ask.
Okay.
And if the answer is affirmative, then we will continue. We'll, we hope to do 7 homes, number 8 on the list, through as long as we can go till the funds run out. Would be, that's the way the program would be administered.
So it's going to be the same degree of rehabilitation that's in this first program?
And of course, that varies by home.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? All in favor of these resolutions for the CHIP program, would you raise your hand? There's no opposition, that is approved unanimously. Thank you.
That's all we have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Public Works Committee.
Item number 1, City Manager Adams discussed the Georgia Department of Transportation Local Maintenance and Improvements Grant application for fiscal year 2013. The road list includes South Harney Street from Broad Street to the city limits at an estimated cost of $202,500. Also, MLK Road, Junior Road from Butler Street to Dogwood Drive with an estimated cost of $91,000. The Public Works Committee recommends approval of this application and authorizes the mayor to sign in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this application. Mr. City Manager, would you like to discuss that just a little bit?
Thank you, ma'am. But there is a short section of Stevens Street that will be included in our paving program next year. It's not going to be included in the request that's sent to the Department of Transportation. This local maintenance and improvement grant, or as DOT calls it, LMIG, is really the old local assistance to road program, LARP program, which most people have probably heard in the past. Our application is $293,500. We have already been told through a formula that the state developed prior to the referendum on whether the special local option tax that would have funded transportation before that was voted on in our region not approved. It was determined that the city will get $59,000. So our out-of-pocket cost on these projects will be $234,500. We will use SPLOST, Special Local Option Sales Tax funds, to pay for these, and that's within the budgeted amount in our budget, which the City Council just approved. We're required to match 30% of this $59,000 LMIG grant because of the new formula that's in place for the regions that did not pass the transportation sales tax. I would propose that we would probably bid these projects out in February work would be performed in March and April, and the resurfacing would be finished, especially South Harney Street. That would be important because, we have our Nat Days Festival starting in the 1st of May. So all of that would be, at least that's my plan, to have all of that completed prior to the start of the Nat Days festivals.
So wait in February ain't gonna be too long?
We have 3 years to do the work. Bidding it, well, we'll probably actually bid it in January, bring it to the council in February, and it has to be a certain temperature in order for the contractors to lay the paving, to lay the asphalt. It's a lot lower than you would think, but it does have to be, I can't remember what it is, 39 or 40 degrees Fahrenheit and rising before they can start. And as I said in the work session, part of the Harney Street project will actually be milling that existing pavement and getting some of that cracking out, and there'll be a good bit of leveling. And our city departments will be going in and doing any work they need to do prior to resurfacing, in hopes that we won't have to go back in and cut a brand new street because we have a leak. Or that happens, unfortunately, but we'll do our best to keep that from happening.
Okay, we're going to apply for a grant for part of it, and that was the 59,000?
That's correct.
Okay, and then we'll obviously pay for the rest of it ourselves out of our SPLOST funds.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor of the adopting this motion, raise your hand. No opposition, it passes unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 2, Manager Adams discussed the Brimberry Lincoln Street Drainage Improvements Project. Stevenson and Palmer Engineering Incorporated solicited proposal. Stevenson and Palmer received 2 bids: Hatcher Tractor Service bid, $55,777, and Zane Grace Construction Incorporated bid $27,611. Stevenson and Palmer recommended the city award the bid to Zane Grace Construction Incorporated for the amount of $27,611. Stevenson and Palmer also recommended the city approve the additional 10% contingency of $2,761 for possible change orders that may occur during construction. The Public Works Committee recommends approval to accept the low bid and authorize the city manager to sign the notice of award. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt this ordinance to the Brimberry Lincoln Street Drainage Project, I should say. You want to discuss this just a little bit? There's a large difference in the bids, and that has been discussed. So you want to expand on that?
There is the total project cost with the recommended contingency would be $30,372.10. And this cost will be paid with stormwater utility fee funds that have been collected in the past. There is a disparity in the bid. I did question our consulting engineer, Stevenson and Palmer, on that, and they said that they did go back and the quantities on the bids are correct. It's just that there's a pretty significant difference in the bids. So the work, the materials are there to do the work. This project will actually involve two smaller projects within the whole project in an attempt to correct flooding issues that have been prevalent in the Lincoln Street area in the past. One of the projects will be going in and putting a drain line behind the funeral home on Lincoln Street that will run out and connect into the large drainage structure that runs under Brimberry Street. The other portion of the project will be putting a new drop inlet in at the intersection of Lincoln Place and Lincoln Street, and then putting in some drainage structures that would run to the east until they would tie into existing drainage structures that would take the water out to Brimberry into that larger pipe so we're going to be tying into that larger structure on Grenberry in 2 separate places. But I did, after the work session, go back and talk to our consulting engineers, and I know there was some, I personally had some concern about the disparity in the bids, but the quantities for the project are in both bids. I can't explain the difference in the bids, but the materials are there to do the work.
Okay. Perhaps there's more of an emergency to get the work done, get the job with one than the other. Do we have any other discussion or questions concerning this drainage project? Okay, we have all in favor of accepting the low bid of Zane Gray's Construction. Raise your hand. No opposition. It passes unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 3, council discussed a contract with the Department of Transportation for construction work performed at Camilla Mitchell County Airport. The work at the airport has been completed. This contract will enable the city to receive a reimbursement in the amount of $199,234. The Public Works Committee recommends approval of the contract and authorizes the mayor to sign. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve a contract for work performed at the Camilla Mitchell County Airport, which will enable the city to receive funds in the amount of $199,234. Any other questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. No opposition. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 4, Chief Bolton has designated Wednesday, October 31st, 2012, from 5:30 p.m. until 8:00 p.m. as trick or treat night. The Public Works Committee recommends approval of the designated date and time. This is in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to designate Wednesday, October 31st, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. as trick or treat night. Do we have any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. No opposition, and it passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, I believe that's all of our public works.
I believe that is it.
I have a question before we move.
Yes, ma'am.
On the stormwater project, do we have a list, or you checking them off to see where we?
Yes, we do. We're actually going to be, city staff and our consulting engineers are actually going to be bringing a new list to you. Some of the projects that were farther down the list may not be necessary now that we've been able to increase our stormwater retention area over by the soccer complex. That's being tripled. We're sitting down and looking at some of those projects and determining whether we might spend the money might be better spent in another project. It'll probably be in a month or so, but we'll be bringing that back to you for the city council to review.
This is the first significant spending of that money, isn't it?
Well, we spent a large amount of money on the study itself.
Okay.
We had the pump at the lift station on Perry Street went out, and it cost $85,000. It's a huge pump. It's a huge pump. It pumps most of the water that falls in that part of the city, goes to that location, and is pumped underground to the retention area that I'm talking about, our soccer complex. Then we had Campbell Street, which drainage structure that was built at Campbell Street, which is about $20,000. And then the Emmett Street project, which is approximately $20,000. This is the largest project we've done since the pump and the actual payment for the study. But we have some pretty significant projects coming up.
Well, continue to keep us apprised of areas you think that this work can be done in to alleviate flooding in parts of our city. Then, so it's an ongoing effort to see that we can't alleviate the flooding wherever it is. Mr. City Manager, excuse me, City Attorney.
I don't know of anything in particular. I talked to Tommy Coleman earlier today, and Bennett, do you know of anything legalized that's going on?
I was gonna mention a couple of things.
Yeah, sure, I know.
Where Tommy Coleman and I have been working on a city charter revision for some time, and we need to bring that to a closure with the council so we can get that approved and send it to our representatives. So
Yeah, that'd have to be in the legislature, would have to
Right.
be in the upcoming legislative session, if the council approves it.
I also talked to Tommy in response to some comments or concerns expressed by the city council members about our existing animal control regulations. And he sent me a couple of drafts that he's used in other places. And I read through both of them, and I really like one of them. It gives you a little more latitude in identifying dogs that could be an issue prior to
Yeah, that's a touchy area, when you get into how far can you go with it, and we all know that.
But it covers the vicious dogs and all that we were talking about.
It actually has some breeds that can be identified as dogs that are potentially dangerous prior to their biting someone. Now, there's been some litigation about that.
It's a tough area, you know, how far can you go? Because it depends on whose option's been going there.
Yeah.
Owners, there has been, and it's up there somewhat. But I think, I think it's been approved of certain of these breeds
Right.
that you can do it.
But I'll have that ready for you to review in the next, or Tom Coleman and I will in the next month or so. We'll continue to work on the extension of our natural gas system. In November, we'll be taking bids on our extension that we've been talking about out to the Equity poultry houses. That should come before you in December for your review and approval of the bids. We also have got the portable radar sign repaired.
Thank you.
After it only took a year. I can tell you, it was quite an experience. I made a lot of phone calls, and I have to thank Albany Communications. They really, I was under the impression that they had sold the sign to the city, but I was wrong. But Jim Deal, who owns Albany Communications, is a good friend of mine. He set me straight in a nice way. But they did help us repair the sign. It is operational now. It was just cranked up today. It says it's still down on South Butler by the police department.
I just come on at 6:30, so
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I thought you might have seen it.
not yet.
I did work something out with the Alzheimer's Association. You know, they were asking that ribbons be put on our street lights, and then talking with the electrical department, that just wasn't going to be. They're going to wrap every pole with some kind of decorative wrap. I did suggest that, as I think one of the city council members suggested, that I utilize these trees on the side, or even put the ribbons on the city of Camilla sign, and put a sign out by there, one of their yard type informational signs, and I've offered to try to get them in contact with the right people at the county government to get a similar approval, and she seemed to be, the lady representing Alzheimer's seemed to be pleased with that result. We're continuing to do sidewalk work throughout the city, both going in and cleaning up the vegetation on top of the sidewalks and repairing sidewalks. We right now sort of concentrating on North Harney Street. There's some places that the curbs were not cut down for handicap access, and there's some places where, I don't know if the sidewalk was never there, but over time it's not there anymore. We're going to try to get it set up so if you're in, of course, you got to get them to use the sidewalk for these people in the scooters and, you know.
You can't come down Hunter Street to the railroad track on the sidewalk if you're in one of those
Well,
chairs.
we're working on getting.
Yeah, because I walk every night. They can't come out.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So we've been able to do that. I think I mentioned that we did some spraying in the cemetery with some growth retardant, and that's worked out very well. We've been able to redirect some of our crews. Of course, the growing season's slowing down too, so that's been helpful. Last thing I would say is just remind city council members to bring your citizen survey, citizen satisfaction survey to the work session next week, and we can talk about the results. And I want to also thank the individuals who responded to that survey. We got some good information back. We'll probably be doing it again next year, and hope we got about a 35% response rate. I would hope we get higher than that once people become aware of what we're trying to do. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Do you have we've had any kind of, anything we can talk about the railroad tracks repair, or have we made very much progress with the railroad on that at this time?
We're still talking back and forth.
Okay.
Dealing with the railroads, kind of dealing with the power company.
Well, just getting them to call you back is a success, which it shouldn't be, but
Okay.
that is certainly how one is. We're going to try to do all 4 of them. Thanks to the city council giving me authority to do that. We're going to get them all fixed if we can ever get them in town.
Okay. Okay. I have no announcements at this time. Is there any other business that needs to be brought before us?
I have one thing. We talked about this one time, maybe coming up with new ideas of identifying this truck route in town. I know the police officers have probably seen the trucks coming through, the trucks, and what it is these new GPS units direct you towards that route. And you know, it's not necessarily their fault all the time, because these GPS units can help them efficiently get their way, especially out of town. And I hope that we're greeting them in a good way. But then again, we also want to protect our roads and their safety, their mind too. But I don't know what we can do, talk to the DOT or whatnot. But signage, nobody really uses road signs as much anymore, anyway. But I don't want them to get a bad, vibe or whatnot from the city of Camilla just because, of lack of signage or what it may be. But I know we talked about, I don't know how to fix the problem, but I noticed, it's tying up our police force too. I've seen them stop double-handed trucks at time to time. And there are some trucks that know the area, and you see them passing through, even though it'll be a lot quicker to go this way. But I don't know if anyone had any ideas or anything that we may could do, about the problem.
Perhaps we can discuss that at our next work session. Okay. Are there any citizens that have any questions or comments for us tonight? Well, we thank you for coming tonight. We had a full agenda and we had a full audience, and we thank you for your participation. If there's no further business, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion. All in favor, raise your hand. We are so adjourned. Thank you.